All you beautiful people out there, welcome to the Probably Wrong podcast. If you don't know by now, my name is Tony, and to my left,
oh yeah, there's a little different setup, right?
possibly your right, Mikey Snellgrove, and then to his left, right, whichever way you're looking at it, Diamond Dave DeShillo.
DeShullo.
I said that.
Yeah, that's right.
DeShillo.
Mm-hmm.
Good enough. Good enough. I don't even mention my last name, so he should be happy that I'm at least giving it an effort.
We have big news, starting maybe next week. We will be bringing brought to you by a sponsor. We just got to handle a few things out here.
I'm kind of excited about this. Yeah. If we got a sponsor, we better be getting paid. Some way, somehow, we are getting paid. Showing up on time every week.
Oh yeah. And hold on. Before we get too into it, let's go through our checklist. Cables, sound. I think we're good.
Sound.
Coffee, we're good.
It's very loud in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's my boy KG.
how's that one? Is that a little better?
That's
a little
much better.
All
Yes,
right.
much better.
All right. I don't know why that was up
All
so
right.
loud.
All right.
All right. What a week. What a weekend.
Yeah.
Tony's always a little delayed here.
It's fine.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, it takes some time to get the
Yeah.
people you
get
gotta
the
send
Facebook,
it
get
to.
everything
and,
going.
Yeah, all that happy stuff. Make sure we get everyone involved.
Did you guys have a probably wrong outing this weekend?
No.
I was probably drunk at about 7 o'clock on a Saturday night, which is rare for me. Had a friend that wanted to meet up early, and I'm like, I don't know if I do early. Well, Saturday I did early, and Saturday I wasn't out late.
Well, Richie's joining us from the toilet tonight, and there's Paul Connors chiming in, or joining us.
My guy, Mr. Connors.
Yeah. So Friday night was my night out, and not intentionally, but
Okay.
went to Martini's and then went to a bunch of different places in Plymouth and ended up at Proof 22.
Oh, I wish I would have met you.
It was 80s, 90s.
Oh, yeah, he was telling me. He's like, this is great. This is a lot of fun. I'm like,
Yeah.
I got to do squats tomorrow. I'm not heading out on a Friday night. I can't do it. That's why I do Saturday nights.
Yeah.
The amount of martinis talk, I feel that we should also get a kickback from them.
Right.
It's possible.
Yeah, and I am the Martini Man of the Year, so I can talk to them. I can say, you know what? Like, I can do a few things for you.
I mean, I saw the giant martini that one of you put on.
Newport, Rhode Island.
Yeah, I
A place
saw that.
called, like, Harry's? Maybe, no, that's Middleborough. But my
Wally's.
buddy... Wally's.
Something like that.
My buddy Shiz, you might know Shiz, Sean Haynes.
I don't know.
Yeah. He's in Newport now. And he's like, dude, we gotta go. And I'm like, yeah, I might go. But the problem is, how the hell am I gonna get home after that?
That's a big predicament.
People say, well, you can Uber, but then I gotta Uber back to get my car?
This is.
I'm not an Uber guy.
I know we talk in here how we're three middle-aged older men. I don't know how to Uber.
Yeah, I don't even think
I don't.
Uber
I
either.
always drive. I
Yeah.
everyone's people are probably shaking their heads now, going, "You idiot!"
It's probably really simple. But
Yeah.
I don't have the app on my phone.
I
But
know.
the people that use it, they say it's very user friendly. I'm kind of old school like you guys.
The wife, we went away a while ago before we had the kids, and she was Ubering. I'm like, "How do you do this? How do you know these people? How do we know the car? Who do we know? How do we know we're just not just a stranger picking us up?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
God,
Yeah.
Yeah,
stressful.
No,
it really is.
Better off.
I can't get into the Uber.
Yeah.
No.
But these kids now, we get people showing up to work every day taking Ubers, which seems like a great thing. You get this, it's basically like a livery service. You get to sleep every morning on your way in, sweep every morning way out.
Play on your phone.
And, Jake here, I'm learning with the mobile food ordering, because that is something that I see is just amazing. You put the food on your phone. When you show up to these places, you walk in and just grab your food like you're stealing it and leave it.
Yeah, the bag's already there, set for you.
I was so frustrated.
Oh, they hate when you pass out in their car.
One of the days, we met at the parking ride in the afternoon. I said, I'm going to go to Wendy's. So he mobile orders his food, and I'm at there probably 3 or 4 minutes before, in line. I was there probably 15 minutes waiting for my food. He was in and out in 3 minutes. I got mad. I go, I was
Yeah,
in
yeah.
line before he was.
Right.
Oh, mobile orders come first.
Yeah.
It just aggravates me.
We got to get with the times, I guess. I feel like we're Belichick when it comes to ordering food.
But I did it.
We're years behind.
I walk in and I'm like, I get my food. I walked up to the register. I go, dude, can I just leave?
Get out of here. Don't even talk to us.
The people
Pretty
just
much
look at
how
me
it
and
is, right?
shake
Just
their
grab the
head.
bag and leave, right?
Yeah, that's it.
But
Yeah.
it's amazing, and I can't wait to fully understand it. But I'm like, you gotta get an app for every place.
Yeah. You know who understands it? Hang out with your daughter for 2 days. These young kids, they understand it all.
And Jacob here was just changing. He's everyday mobile ordering.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Like this,
These young kids, they grew up with it, so they understand it. We don't. You know, we're dinosaurs, if you will.
Speaking of dinosaurs, look who chimes in tonight, huh?
Justin Elwood.
The old L train back on the tracks.
Yeah.
Huh?
I came here to chew bubble gum and kick butt, and I'm all out of bubble gum. That's the famous line from Roddy Piper.
I
Back
thought it was
in
from
the day.
Dazed and Confused.
Roddy Piper said it before. Roddy Piper's old school. Roddy
I know.
Piper's 80s,
It was a little different, but
Yeah, Dazed and Confused was a little bit different.
but Roddy Piper was
early
way
80s.
back.
Yeah, Richie, I don't ever want to get caught drunk driving. I don't. It's you know.
Roddy Piper hit Jimmy Snooker over the head with a coconut. I don't think you could do that in 2024. He smashed a coconut over his head. There's got to be some racial like something
If we
there.
want to talk about wrestling for a minute,
I do. I always want to talk about wrestling.
I've been watching like the documentaries and everything on AEE, and you know I'm way behind on them. But I'm like the amount of stuff that they got away with. I know like people who like The Office, like that show could never be on TV anymore. But the stuff that wrestling got away with, I mean, not just to Generation X, you know. And I'm just like, whew.
Yeah.
I miss those times.
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
And
yeah.
who would have thought when we were in those times?
It's not just wrestling though.
Oh, I know,
I mean,
but they
all
were.
these sports.
Or TV shows, Archie Bunker, right? Like that's just not. You watch it now, which I don't. It's like that's not even right.
Well, even no, a lot of it is it's twisted. I don't want to get into it now, but you know, you can take that as extreme racial undertones, or you can see what he was really doing in the show, and you're like, oh, all right, never mind. But you can spin it. So I'm not changing, Richie. Yeah, we know.
Has anyone seen Iron Claw? I haven't.
I've been dying to see
The
that.
Von Erichs.
Yes. I've been dying to see that.
There was Kevin Von Erich, Kerry Von Erich, their older brother Dave Von Erich, and then Chris Von Erich, sons of the great Fritz Von Erich from somewhere in Texas. I forget the name of the.
I don't even know much about the Von Erichs.
Oh,
All
yeah.
I know is Zac Efron is it, and the kid Philip from Jesus, I forget the name of the show now. What's the show from Chicago? It's on Cinemax.
I don't have Cinemax. I'm Portuguese. I'm
It
cheap.
was a great show, but you know, and he was also in The Bear. It's another great show. But those two actors together playing
Shameless?
this role. Shameless, yes.
You can thank Paul Connors
Thanks,
for that
Paul.
one.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Paul.
coming in clutch.
But yeah, we'll be checking that out. I want to see that. That was the movie I was gonna get into, but everybody's been talking about the Saltburn, so I've started
You
to
know
watch
what?
that.
Yeah, all
You
right.
watched it?
No, I want to watch the. I forgot about the Iron Claw,
Yeah.
and I think back to like the battles that they had with the fabulous Freebirds and Buddy Roberts and Michael P.S. Hayes and Terry Bam Bam Gordy, and I'm like, dude, I gotta
I know
watch
none of
that.
that. I just
Oh,
I was gonna be active.
WCCW World Class
In case anyone was
Championship
wondering,
Wrestling
Tony
from
doesn't
down
know
in
much about
Texas.
wrestling.
Oh, I loved it.
Where's
My
Bob Roxburgh tonight? Where's
my
Bobby Rox?
fourth
He's
grade
big into
teacher
this whole
called
wrestling.
my-
I was into the WWF when I was a kid, but I don't remember.
I was into all of
This
it.
is even before.
Oh yeah,
Talking
yeah.
about,
My,
I don't-
my fourth grade teacher called my parents and said, "You got to stop having this kid watch wrestling. All
How
he
did
does
you
is
even
talk
watch
about."
it back then? This is back. What you're talking about is back when wrestling had the great division, where you had the guys in Florida, you had the guys in Texas.
Yep.
You had the guys. So,
You had WWF Saturday mornings.
but the guys you're talking about here were before WWF.
Well, those guys were at the same time. They were in Texas, though. So you had World Class Championship Wrestling,
That's-
I believe it was called, and that was in Texas. That was on ESPN, and then on TBS or TBS or WWOR, you had the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, with the Road Warriors and Ric Flair and.
You
and-
know he's passionate.
Oh,
He's-
I love it! I love
I
it!
don't know if you guys can pick
give
it
it
up,
all to me!
but
Give it all!
He's rocking in his seat.
Oh yeah, the
That's
fire,
what-
the fire. Oh man, I loved it all. I loved it all.
Oh, man.
And then for wrestling to come back in the mid '90s with the NWO and the Attitude Era with WWE. I'm like, oh, foaming at the mouth. I'll take it all.
And this wrestling is a perfect segue into what we're really going to get into tonight.
Woo!
The NFL and what's happening. Because they are really also sports entertainment.
They're just as scripted as all these wrestling federations.
But I hate to believe it. I hate to believe that I still want to have blinders on and believe that it's not scripted. That it can't be scripted. That there's no way. That there's still chance that they don't think of who's going to win this weekend.
You can outplay the script. So it's not like wrestling where this is the script, this is automatically going to happen. The NFL might want KC, they might want something, but you know what? If Lamar Jackson goes on a tear, there's nothing you can do about it. The refs can only manipulate the game so much before it becomes obvious. Once it becomes obvious, you lose all credibility, you're going to lose fans. People are losing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on these games. So the NFL can kind of like push it in a certain direction, but they can't go too over the top. And that's why, to me, it's still a good watch. And at any time, like, you have a guy go nuts like a Lamar Jackson, and there's not much you can do.
No. What do we want to dive into first this weekend? It hasn't become obvious. Justin,
Before we get into that, if Justin didn't get kicked off the show, this would have been his 1-year anniversary.
It was this week, or I thought it was next week would have been this one. I like how you say kicked off the show.
Yeah, so it's we'd like to congratulate. Well, it's almost like a fake congratulations because he was kicked off the show.
Yeah, but hey, he came back in. This is how we started. This is how Justin started. You
Yeah,
know?
by chiming in, rubbing us the wrong way at times, and before you know it, he was part of the show, and then he wasn't.
Yep. So.
What do we want to start with?
What do we want to start with? Do we want to break it down with how it started last week, how it unfolded with that Baltimore game? That, I mean, man, did Texas not show up?
You have an outdoor team.
Yeah, I know.
You know, like playing in the elements versus an indoor team.
I'm sorry. Joshua Hoy with the great.
Yeah. My guy, Drama Hoy. So, Texas, or the Texans, make it into the playoffs. Rookie quarterback. They win a game. Like, that is kind of like their Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And then they go from an indoor stadium to a cold stadium. You know, that's why I had Baltimore. By the way, I went 4-0 last week, but I had Baltimore. I'm like, they already won a game. Sometimes now they're just happy to be there for round 2.
They were outclassed by the defense of Baltimore, and they weren't ready at all.
No.
They got a punt return for a touchdown. That was it.
Yeah.
And that was just a big play on special teams, and the Ravens corrected that.
But that could be a team that you see take a little bit of a jump next year, right?
Or take a big step back.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. But you have the quarterback.
And you think Tank Dell's coming back next year. Hopefully they'll shore up the running game. I mean, they're going to lose their offensive coordinator. But we'll see. I mean, everyone was all hot to trot about this offensive coordinator. And Jake, you're absolutely right here. I mean, granted, they weren't that good in the first half, but that second half, there was no offense at all. And I'm sorry, Baltimore's defense is good.
But it's not the old
It's
Ravens
not.
defense.
No, that's a team you can pass on.
Yeah, they just gave up, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was something I was thinking about. Is you said they're not the old Ravens defense, but this kid Roquan Smith.
Oh yeah.
They're comparing him to Ray Lewis, and I don't think anyone's comparable to Ray Lewis.
But you can see where that comparison is coming from.
Yeah, his play is. I mean, he's an unbelievable middle linebacker.
Right.
He's not as vocal, maybe not as passionate, I guess I'd call it.
But that Ray Lewis is an all-time great.
Yes. Yeah.
Justin, I wouldn't put their. Sorry, Dave. When you're talking about that, the linebackers, I wouldn't put them as elite. I mean, they're damn good. I don't.
Very good.
I'll say Ray Lewis is elite.
Yeah, I would say Roquan Smith is playing the best that we've seen him play.
I mean, he's young and he's got time to build. I mean, if he goes out and wins a championship this year and continues to do what he's doing, he's obviously an excellent middle linebacker. Will they consider him in the same breath with Ray Lewis? Probably not.
And are you going to call him elite next week if they lose, if Patrick Mahomes throws all over and they run? You know, that's what I mean. I don't want to say that they're elite yet. I mean, they had a good year this year. They had, I think, they played really good against the Texans. I mean, if they go on a Super Bowl run and they shut down Patrick Mahomes and they get in and shut down the Lions or the Niners, okay, all right, now we can talk. Now we can talk today. Wow, they had a great run. They shut down. We can put them in that category. I just don't think. I think elite is a little strong right now for that.
I honestly have a tough time naming guys on the Ravens defense. I do know the couple of linebackers that Justin mentioned, Smith and Queen, but the DBs, defensive line, it's not the same as 10 years ago.
And Paul, you have a point. Right now, if you look at the 4 defenses in there, I would put Baltimore. I don't know. I'd put Baltimore and San Francisco neck and neck with their defense.
Right. And reading Paul's comment, I'm also in the category that just because you're like top 5, like doesn't make you elite. I think elite is like an absolute standout. There might not be that many elite middle linebackers in football now. I think Brian Urlacher, when he was on,
way back.
Right, that was elite, right?
Yeah.
I don't see these people these guys dominated games. In my opinion, like that's elite.
And when you're elite, and I know this may sound stupid, but you're a name everybody knows.
Yeah, and you're dominating games.
That's the elite. Elite is the top of the top.
Right.
Just because you're the best right now in the
Right,
NFL,
that's what I was trying to say.
I don't think that means that you're elite. Just
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going with this. I know we're splitting hairs here with this, but moving on, Lamar Jackson.
Can we be happy for Lamar Jackson? Can we get some applause?
He won the playoff game.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, it's a process, and
Didn't
everybody.
just win it though.
What?
Didn't just win it; they demolished.
Yeah.
Texans.
Yeah.
In every fashion.
Do we want to say though, the Texans? I don't want to demolish themselves.
It's a weak opponent.
I know it's tough to come and say this because we were all very high on the Texans last week.
We were.
We all thought. I mean, I thought the Texans would be the upset win, but
I was hoping for it.
And sometimes in the playoffs, you get that win, get it under your belt, and then who knows what that leads to this week.
Yeah.
Because now you can't say you can't win a playoff game, so he got that off his chest. So
and it's tough to say Lamar didn't look sharp because. I mean, is that the best we've seen him play? No, not by far.
But he's
the
good
guy,
enough.
I mean, he ran for 100 yards, scored 2 touchdowns, had a couple great balls to Zay, had a nice ball to Isaiah Likely. I mean, he did throw some good balls out there.
He's going to have to be nearly perfect this week.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Paul. This test is because I mean, to move on, Patrick Mahomes, as crappy as that team looked all year.
Right.
They picked it up at the right time.
Yeah.
But I don't think he has to be close to perfect because I don't think KC offensively is what they were. Back in the day, you would have to play a perfect game to beat KC.
That's the thing.
I thought you had some guys.
KC looked almost perfect against Buffalo.
Yeah, you had guys step up. I mean, guys were catching balls.
Yeah,
That
but
was the
Buffalo was in
problem all
that
year.
game until
Josh Allen made them not.
yes.
Or,
I mean that.
or McDermott. maybe not.
McDermott. Yeah. I mean,
Well, no, it's a combination of the both.
It
because-
is,
because
it
Allen
is.
goes rogue, and if he would have stuck, like we've talked about here on this show,
We have, and he goes rogue, and that's where the coach comes in and smacks him in the head and says, "Stop."
yeah.
Because
But
they should have bled the clock down and tried to move closer, and then take a couple shots at the end zone, and then if you don't get in, you kick a field goal from 25 yards out and tie the game with no time left on the clock, so that you're not having another 13-second moment with the Chiefs.
I agree with you 100%. But my problem with that, and you and I were arguing the other day about this, is that pass he threw to Shakur, he was wide open.
Oh, he was open.
It was just a bad ball thrown.
But it wasn't the right time
You take
to
that,
go there.
Okay, I want to disagree with you because if they would have scored, Baltimore's defense was playing pretty well. Buffalo. You take that.
You think so, though?
You take that
It's a-
touchdown. What's the chances that you?
The Chiefs punted once all game.
No,
Yeah.
not in that second half.
Maybe twice.
In the second half, they Baltimore's defense came out to play. They took it down the field once, and then they punched the ball out of the end zone.
If I'm coaching against Patrick Mahomes, I'm not leaving him a minute.
Banging on the
Sorry,
back.
I'm not
Like
leaving
Tony.
him a minute. I'm getting excited. I'm not leaving him a minute and 50 seconds to go down the field to score because he's going to.
But with Justin, we can go back and forth this. I agree. we've saying all year, Allen, his best is when he dinks and dunks and takes control of the game and brings it right down. But he had Shakir wide open. You're in the playoffs like that. You have somebody wide open in the end zone. You got to go for the touchdown and just say, defense, make the stop. Because what if Kincaid dropped one of the ball? What if you did dink and dunk, and then somebody drops the ball or this and that, and you look back 2 plays earlier in game film and you had Shakir wide open in the end zone. It was just a bad ball thrown by Allen.
It's just one of those things. We're seeing the Chiefs do what we watched the Patriots do for 20 years, and they could be down by...
They find a way to win.
Yeah, I mean, if Brady got the ball back with 30 seconds, you knew he was going
Figure
to
it out.
score.
Yeah.
Mahomes is the same thing. You give him the ball, and he needs less time. I mean, 13 seconds to go down the field to kick a
and some of that is
goal.
experience and other teams tightening up.
Yeah.
But I think I've been saying that like all year. Like, that's a team you have to beat until you beat them, because they figure out a way to get it done.
Yeah. And, I mean, Joe Burrow got over that hump a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but don't forget, Allen's also another guy who can go right down the field. So
Yes,
they would have
yeah.
scored. Mahomes, they would have had to score. I mean, you never know what would happen. I just think if you got a guy wide open in the end
But
zone,
here's the thing.
you go for the touchdown. You know, and
Allen's a guy that can go up and down the field until it means something, and then he blows it.
I'm a Josh Allen fan. I just think he's a little erratic, and you know what? Maybe we haven't seen the best out of Josh Allen.
I'm trying to root for the guy.
I know.
And to Jake's comment here is, I think that he saw Diggs and just didn't go to him, because Diggs was having a bad game. 8 targets, 3 receptions, a couple key drops.
I saw Diggs hasn't had a 100-yard game in his past 12 weeks.
No, they were talking before the game he was injured. I didn't really see much validity to the injury argument.
Well, the injury might just make him a step slower, and then he can't get the separation. So it might be something that you don't hear about until the offseason.
But I think Allen saw him and was like, I can't trust Diggs right now.
It's possible,
You know.
but I mean, he was hit as he was trying to launch that ball too. If he had just gotten rid of it quick to Diggs, it was open.
Yeah.
But it was a great game, right?
It was
Enjoyable. I mean, it's exactly what we wanted.
It was really the best game of the weekend.
Yeah.
I wanted to go
the
to bed.
Sideshow,
What?
the Kelsey.
Oh,
Jason Kelce
Jason
sideshow.
Kelce is just amazing.
That was hilarious.
Dude, just engaging with the Baltimore fan. I mean, engaging with the Buffalo fans. Even when they were trying to boo him, they couldn't even boo him because he was drinking with them. He was taking pictures with kids. He was taking little kids up to see.
You know what, Jason Kelce, right?
Yes.
He is building his brand. Actually, very, very intelligent. I wouldn't be surprised. Casey wins the whole thing. Brother Travis retires. They go into the Hall of Fame together. I think these two can do something after football. I think people don't retire from football because they don't know what to do. These two, I think, can.
Well, their show's pretty good.
It's very good.
I listened to it today.
Yeah, they're very likable, and I think Kelsey's more banged up than people realize, and he might just say, you know what, if I quit now, like, you only date Taylor Swift if your main focus is football. You don't date Taylor Swift. I don't feel like. I feel like he's got bigger things on the horizon.
Yeah,
100%. So I wouldn't be surprised if, and it would be pretty cool if they both went into the Hall of Fame together, both retired at the same time, right?
No, I agree, and it couldn't happen to a better duo. I know Kelsey gets a ton of hate here in New England. I'm not even going to get into that argument. I've been going at it online with it lately because I chimed in to go against Justin, but those two guys, I mean, they really are good guys. They are.
I got the nod of approval from Paul Connors.
Yeah, very likable.
Yeah.
And great. I mean, great players.
Yeah.
Great on the field, great off.
Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
The only thing about Travis is he's much better on the microphone when he can step away. Because if you put that microphone in him after a game,
he's too emotional.
He's
too emotional.
That's why they wait till Wednesday.
And don't get Jason is too. Jason's had that microphone and said some. I mean, as the fans, I enjoy it, but I'm just.
This is going to be a guy like after football, people are going to appreciate him more. Like while he's playing. Like, A-Rod's a perfect example. If you listen to A-Rod, he's very likable. Now that you don't think about him as a Yankee or whatever. So I think the same thing's going to happen to, the brother Kelce, Jason Kelce, everyone's already fine with him. He seems very likable. But I think the same thing will happen to Travis as well.
I'm not. You're not baiting me into that tonight.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss
We're not.
Gronk and Kelsey.
No, because we can go
And-
forever.
and,
It doesn't matter how many facts on each side. I'm not going to listen to you. You're not going to listen to me.
And Taylor Swift is probably going to be at the Super Bowl no matter what, whether the Chiefs
Yeah.
are there or not. So I'm sure the Kelsey brothers will be at the Super Bowl too,
Oh yeah,
promoting their show.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah. It'd be cool to see what they could do together. You know, like
Yeah.
so. I'm kind of hoping for it.
All right, now to go into the I think the everyone's Super Bowl favorite. No, I shouldn't say everybody, but the Super Bowl favorite, the San Francisco 49ers, almost blowing the game to Jordan Love. And
Well,
so I think Jordan Love's youth and inexperience was the only reason they lost that game. Because he was balling out, and
Yeah.
in that second half he really tightened up, and he didn't have a good second half.
And like you said, he's young, and
But man, did he look good again?
I mean, San Francisco maybe is a little rusty from not playing. They
Or
didn't,
is it-
they didn't play well down the stretch.
Or is it that Brock Purdy's not that good, and as soon as Debo got hurt,
Well,
the cracks in Purdy showed
Brock
up
Purdy
again?
is, I mean, he is what he is. He's the
He's a-
last pick in the draft.
He's a game manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to go to another team and, you know,
No,
blow
this
it out of the water. He's on a stacked team. They have built so well around him that if they had a Pro Bowl quarterback to play for them, they would destroy everyone.
Yeah.
That
Oh.
team is loaded.
I was thinking as watching that game is if they had a Jordan Love, how good would this team be? If they had, and just looking at some of the young quarterbacks,
Kirk Cousins. It doesn't even have to be
It
the best
doesn't-
quarterback.
If they had
Put
a Mac
Jared
Jones,
Goff out there,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Hey, he might be available.
Yeah, they might have him next year.
Yeah, and Justin, I wanted to touch on that too. Man, Aaron Jones these past 2 games, what an offensive line can do for you, huh? Because they have a healthy offensive line, and Aaron Jones has been taking advantage of that because they ran that ball. I mean, that was really the saving grace, and I think that helped. That took so much pressure off of Jordan Love. Was Jones
Yeah,
being running? I mean, not even Jones. Taylor was running it too. So that's why I give a lot of credit to that offensive line. Because
Yeah.
Taylor, I mean, the few times that he was in there, he got positive yardage. So we'll see. It was a good game. I enjoyed it. I'm very pissed that they missed that kick, but you know what? They covered the spread.
Okay.
So I'm very
You're
happy about that.
But I have to say, though, the 2 most exciting games were the Buffalo KC and then Detroit.
Detroit Tampa. That was a good
Detroit
game.
Tampa. Very good game.
But see,
It's
it ended up that way. 'Cause
Yeah,
that
first half was a little boring. Yeah, first half was a
I
little
sitting
boring.
here going, oh, I'm yawning, looking at my phone.
Well,
Yeah.
They kept
Snacks.
talking about Tampa's defense and how they haven't given up a rushing touchdown or very good against the run at least. And those 2 running backs for Detroit are they're fun to watch.
Yeah, that whole Detroit team is fun to watch.
Yeah.
And seriously, any one of these 4 teams, and this is the first time I think I could say this in a few years, that any one of the matchups that could come out of this
It's pretty
is
good.
going to be a good matchup.
Yeah.
It is going to be.
There's not
Sure.
one bad matchup, barring an injury or something in this series. There's not one bad matchup that's going to be. I mean, what?
KC Detroit maybe.
I don't mind seeing Pat Mahomes go up against.
I wouldn't mind, but I think KC could beat them maybe pretty easily.
I think KC's toughest challenge is Baltimore. I think KC can actually matches up better with San Francisco. I think this is going to be their Super Bowl this weekend, because if they get by Baltimore, I'm sorry, they're going to beat San Francisco. Andy Reid, as much hate as people give him, he is a good coach. He's a smart coach, and he's going to neutralize their weakness is Brock Purdy.
Yeah, but we'll see. He's got a lot of
You know,
weapons
they-
around him, though. He's got a lot of weapons.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I also agree with that. Me and Paul Connors. If I'm ever out, get Paul Connors in this seat. He knows what he's talking about, and he can bring the same
He
type
also
of value.
disagrees with you.
Huh?
Right there, Paul Connors.
If would mock. That's not even English. How do you know he's disagreeing with me? He could be agreeing with me. I think KC would kill the Lions, and I think that's what he's trying to say.
I'm happy with that because I want to see Patrick Mahomes win another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because it's just.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'd like to see 3 more good games that are entertaining.
Yeah.
And I don't really give a crap who wins any of the. I don't have like a dog in the
agree.
fight. Just give us 3 games to end the season.
Yeah.
3 good games, because
I-
this season in the NFL kind of sucked. There are a lot of crappy games.
I would love to see Detroit pull it out. But
The whole thing?
I don't think they're going to.
I
Yeah.
mean, we can say that about anything. I mean, this is. I mean, Doesn't
They've
make
had
for
such
good-
a great
good view, but
year.
I would love to see Lamar win it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
You know,
He deserves one. He kind of needs one to, I don't know, shut people up
Yeah.
yeah.
at this point.
I wouldn't mind seeing Brock Purdy shut up Mike Snellgrove. Wouldn't that be something? Brock
Right.
Purdy,
It's-
Super Bowl
The
MVP.
only way Brock Purdy could shut the haters up is if he won the Super Bowl with Debo being injured and McCaffrey being injured.
Yeah. I don't think Brock
Like,
Purdy
what
has the talent enough to like light it up on his own
No,
to
I
win
mean,
a big game.
It's really,
I mean, if he goes out there and
dude. What if Ayuk and Samuel and Kittle and McCaffrey catch
But
halfway
if he's-
decent balls?
if he's making good throws and he's avoiding pressure, he's stepping up in the pocket, he's
Yeah, he could do a lot for himself in a big game like
taking
that.
hits while he's in the pocket.
I don't think he'll ever be a top 10 quarterback, but he can do a lot for himself.
And I'm gonna agree with Justin here. They did lose 3 straight, but you got to remember that 3 that they lost, their team was injured. You know, Debo was out.
He might.
Didn't
he's
McCaffrey
still
sit one game there?
questionable
No.
CJ Hillier. Nobody has enough talent to silence Snelly.
No, people have been
You know,
trying to
Snelly
do
will
everything
tell you that.
for years.
Yeah, keeps talking this guy.
Never ends.
Now I'm self-conscious. You know.
It's about time.
I don't think that could ever happen.
All right, so let's do our picks for this weekend.
All right.
I was 4-0. You were what? 3-1, 4-0,
Yeah.
No, I was.
No, I think he was
2 and 2,
2
maybe.
2-2.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go last since I'm the weekly champ.
Oh, we'll just start. Okay, Baltimore and KC.
I'll go first. I'll have to go KC until KC loses. In order to beat the man, to be the man, you got to beat Flair. Since we're talking about wrestling, and Lamar Jackson, currently Patrick Mahomes is still the man.
You know, we got some funny comments tonight here.
All right.
Justin, trying to silence Snelly cost me my.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And your 1 year anniversary. You know?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with KC only because I really want to see Mahomes win another Super Bowl. Would I be disappointed if Lamar won? No.
I want Baltimore to win. I think KC will win.
Yeah. All right, KC.
Yeah, I want Baltimore, but I think KC's going to win it.
Paul does not agree.
I don't.
Paul
think-
Connors.
Sticking to your guns, Paul. I believe a week ago you said this was Josh Allen's year.
Yeah.
You know.
To
Quite
start the
possible.
season, you like Mac
I don't
Jones.
know. I don't know if
Stick to those guns,
we can. I don't know if
Connors.
we can bring back the old
Hey.
quotes, but
Hey, he's perfect for the probably wrong.
Yeah. Definitely wrong. The definitely wrong podcast.
yeah,
Sticking to the guns, huh, Paul?
Yeah.
All right.
yeah. I think Mahomes and Kelsey just bring it to another level in the playoffs, and no one's been able to stop it.
No,
So,
and for a guy that Kelsey has looked like crap, I mean, he come out 2 touchdowns. I mean, he did his thing.
Yeah, it's great.
You know, that whole team did his thing. You know, the guys, I just can't get. I'm like, wow, these guys are catching balls. If they did this all year long, what would have happened? I mean, Pachinko, the way he runs the ball.
Pacheco.
I like Pachinko.
Pacheco.
you're very good with names.
Yeah.
So, all right,
All right.
Detroit.
I gotta go San Fran. Just too talented in San Fran. I'd love to see Baltimore versus the Lions. I think that would be an awesome kind of hard-hitting, hard-nosed game. I'd rather see that, but we're gonna see KC versus San Fran, in my opinion.
I'm gonna take Detroit. I guess something's telling me Detroit's gonna win it. Something's telling me Jared Goff knows how to get there. You know, he's got someone brought it up earlier, Montgomery and Gibbs. They have a great running duo, and you know,
And they received Jameson Williams.
just was say he's starting to come
He's
on.
starting to come on.
He's starting to catch balls.
And
So
Amon Ra is just awesome.
yeah,
Kid gets open. He's fast. He's making plays.
So you're going Detroit?
I'm going.
I've loved Detroit since Barry Sanders.
Well,
And-
Barry Sanders isn't playing
I
on
know.
Sunday, so it doesn't really
I-
matter.
But it's one
You
of
know,
those. It's one of those.
I
things
love
that-
Steve Largent back in the day. You know, I
Scott
believe
Harrison, wasn't he?
Dave Craig was their quarterback.
It's just-
You know,
it's-
Brian Bosworth.
Detroit's been a team I've rooted for years, and they just every year it's so bad, and they're finally starting to build something here, and I want to believe that they can compete with San Francisco.
Yeah, but none of what you're saying matters this Sunday.
no,
It's this year's team versus this
I
year's
don't-
San
I don't
Francisco.
think they can compete with San Francisco.
All right, so you like San Fran? Why do we have
I
to
don't-
listen to
I don't
all
like
that?
them.
Wait a minute. have to listen to the history of the
Oh
Detroit
man,
Lions.
yeah.
You know,
Oh man, Wayne Fonts is a head coach.
I really
We
like
got to
him
hear
now.
about Wayne Fonts.
Yeah.
Actually, grew up in Wareham, Mass.
Yes, he did.
But Justin,
Portuguese guy, Wayne Fonts.
I'm gonna put Amon the same thing I said with Baltimore City. If Amon balls out and they win the Super Bowl and he really just takes over the game, yeah, I would put him in elite category. You know, I put him right now as in top 5 wide receivers in the game. You know, by far. So
There's a lot of good wide receivers.
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of good wide receivers. Tyreek Hill, Jefferson.
Yeah.
Who else?
Chase, Lamb.
Yeah, there's a lot of
know.
good wide receivers. That's the position. That's freaks,
Everyone-
absolute freaks.
all saying-
Except for the Pats, we have no wide receivers.
Everyone in the USA wants the
It's-
Lions.
It's because people feel bad for
For the
Detroit
Lions.
for all
that,
the.
that year that Chicago won. Remember the Chicago Cubs? The year that they won?
Yeah.
And that was the one year that they had the whole nation behind them.
But I also feel like in New England, which most of our viewers are from, we're a little bit more hard nosed people. We're like blue collar type, and that's what like the Detroit Lions are. Like
Yeah.
it's not like a lot of like divas. So it's
Say
like we can relate to those
lost
guys.
ourselves in this team.
the
That's
pregame-
what
You know what
Eminem would
Eminem-
say. Yeah, yeah.
the pregame for that game. Did you guys watch that?
No.
They had like all these Detroit fans who they had this older guy who's been to like every game, and they showed him in the stands after
We have a lot of
the
them
win,
in
but
New England. You know, Paul Connors.
interviewing him, talking about how he's been there through all the heartache,
Right.
and it was funny that they actually did that for a pregame and had this other guy's talking about how his dad passed away and got buried in a Lions jacket.
They do that to every. I don't
I was
buy
like,
into
Yeah.
that.
But it's very comparable to like Red Sox fans, right? Because
Very available to every loser
86
franchise.
years.
right.
You know?
Yeah, but like a lot of what he's saying kind of resonates with people from around here because their fathers were saying the same thing about the Red Sox.
Yeah.
So
The Bruins went 39 years without a Stanley Cup.
I'll be saying that in 50 years
So.
when the Falcons win the Super Bowl.
yeah.
You know?
Michael,
there
I don't
since
know if you'll ever see a
1989.
Falcons Super Bowl.
What do you mean? They've been there twice.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
win. Sorry, a win. I don't know if you'll
Right.
ever see a win.
So the first one, Chris Chandler, Andre Rison, that
Yeah,
team.
that was the night Eugene Robinson won the humanitarian award and got caught with the hookers in his
Yeah,
hotel
yeah,
right
yeah.
before the game.
They didn't say what qualifies to be the humanitarian of the year. Maybe it's
He was setting them free, Tony. He was trying to give them a better
yeah,
life.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
you know,
He didn't
put-
have a good
putting
lawyer.
Food on the plate of their children.
That's
you
right.
know,
He
so
could've really
man of the
spun
year.
that around. Yeah, Tony, I know. I never smoked them. I still remember. I went to Jay Cunningham. Sometimes he's on here. Was invited over to the house to watch the Broncos and Atlanta Falcons. And I knew I made a mistake when I walked down and everybody had Bronco stuff. saying-
Was Dion on that team?
It was awful.
Dion wasn't on that team, right?
No.
On that Falcons team.
No, he had long since.
Yeah.
No, that was Terrell Davis and John Elway's last year.
Okay.
That was Terrence Mathis, Bert Emanuel, Jamal Anderson. you know.
Oh, the Dirty Bird,
Yeah, yeah.
6th round pick,
Yeah.
Jamal Anderson. Yeah, he had about 2 good years, and then that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him.
I don't remember.
A knee injury
Knees,
or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Both knees, I believe.
Yeah.
All right, enough about the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah. We'll talk about them more when they hire Bill Belichick, your boy, in a few
It's
weeks.
not going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, we can
it's
segue
lost
right
me.
into the.
I know
coaching
Vrabel was
result.
Vrabel was actually down there today.
Yeah.
So
I'm telling you, they're not going to go with either of those guys. I give it to Atlanta. This is the one thing that they're doing right. They are doing their due diligence. So I'll give them that. They're interviewing everybody.
that's not even a word. They're not doing that because that wasn't even a word.
Due diligence?
Due diligence. Okay, you didn't. Say, you
No, I-
rewind the tape. It didn't sound like due diligence.
I
It
read
said,
that. I read that Arthur Blank is the one that wanted Belichick, and the rest of
Everybody else is like
it's
out.
not- we don't want
So
him here.
the inside source here is what happened was they went down. Just him and Belichick met on the yacht. They had a good dinner. Belichick gave him his spiel, everything. You know, obviously Arthur Smith wants him. But when he came in for the second interview is when everyone sat down and they wanted to know Belichick's plan and who he was bringing and what he was going to do because Arthur Smith was going to give him total control.
Ooh.
And he started spewing the Joe Judges, the Patricia,
Well-
working on the Josh McDaniels, and people were like, absolutely not.
And the reason why the people that work there aren't in favor of Belichick because you're gonna lose control. You might even lose your job.
And I think they were
So
fine
of course they're gonna be like, no, we don't want this
They were
guy.
fine with losing the control because a lot of those guys are on their way out. It's who he was bringing in.
Yeah.
You get perpetual losers.
Well, Josh McDaniels is a good offensive coordinator.
No, he's not. Tom Brady was the greatest quarterback of all time. Tony.
He got Mac Jones
No.
to start 9-4.
No, Mac
That's
Jones
pretty good.
Mac Jones had 7 good games and then tailspin right off.
Right. But he got Mac Jones to go 9-4, and at one time they were Super Bowl favorites with Mac Jones as a rookie. That's pretty impressive. Like, Mac Jones is terrible. He's got a noodle for an arm. He can't move. He's immobile, and somehow this guy developed an offense with very little talent to start the season 9-4, and then it got cold, and his arm got even worse.
He got exposed. Josh McDaniels got exposed. Film got out. People started to pay attention.
Well, Mac
and they
Jones
knew.
got exposed.
You know? No, I want nothing to do with any of that coaching carousel in Atlanta. It's just
I
no.
struggle with Josh McDaniels because I mean he's left twice to be a head coach and he's failed.
He's not a head coach. He's not a head coach.
Justin, where were these witty, good comments when you were on the show?
And maybe you wouldn't have kicked him off.
But no, I'm happy Belichick's. I'm happy they're interviewing all these young guys. I don't know who I want them to go with. I really wanted Harbaugh. I destroyed his name. Harbaugh. But obviously he's gone to the Chargers. I don't want Belichick there.
Did he sign there?
Who?
Harbaugh?
They're still working.
I don't
out,
think it's official, but I think it's official.
Yeah, they're working out the monies in analytics department, and he's another one who wants to bring a whole team with him. And I think they are fine with it there. They just need to work out the money.
Well, he can't go back to Michigan
No.
and then deal with all the sanctions they're going to get because he's kind of like a shady human. So he's like, I'm out. I'll coach over here.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Let the next guy deal with the sanctions.
Bob, I don't know what Vrabel's going to end up. I have a gut feeling that he may be the guy to end up in Atlanta.
Well, he's there today.
Yeah.
We still have to see if McDermott has a job at the end of the month. Buffalo would be a great team to take over.
For Belichick,
Yeah.
be perfect.
They really, I mean, they have the roster. They just
Yeah.
don't have the coaching to get.
Yeah, that would be a perfect situation.
But he's another person. If he was going to get fired, it'd be by
It
Monday.
should have happened
You,
already.
you got to do it now. And he made some stupid comments about 9/11, and I guess the team wasn't like really happy with it as they.
Like, we got a bomb on this team, like the Taliban did or something.
Just a freaking idiot. So you know what? Like, just for making that comment alone, I think he should be fired. And he's not a good coach.
He's not
So
a good coach.
get him out of there.
And he's not the brightest bulb on the tree. So
No, and Josh Allen needs better coaching because you have a top 5 talent in the league. Get him the coach that he needs.
Well, and if Vrabel is going to do wonders for that Atlanta defense, that's been their weak spot there. I mean, ever since I can remember, their defense, they blow the games at the end. And Vrabel would be.
What do you mean
huge
blows
upgrade.
games like if they had like a 28-3 lead?
That was happening all year. That was happening all year. They do not hold it there. It's awful.
28-3.
Really awful.
Yeah. You know, what an absolute we don't even really think about that. You're up 28-3 in the second half. What a monumental collapse.
The worst part is I sat here, and I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking this. I saw it coming from the first touchdown. I saw it come. I sat right here.
Oh, when the Patriots
When
scored,
the Patriots started to come back,
You could feel it.
I knew it was coming.
you could feel it.
Just how everybody was texting me and this and that, and I'm just like, guys, like you have Tom Brady, like it's
Yeah.
not over.
You-
I'm like, and then as it became real, I
You
go,
could
I'm like,
feel
I can see it. And
like Atlanta, the perfect collapse.
No, and
Like,
whenever Hightower sacked back, Mac Jones, jeez.
well, Matt Ryan,
Matt Ryan.
and he should have. They were in field goal range. He should have never have taken a 5-step drop. Take a 3-step drop. Get rid of that ball. Kick the field goal. You win the game.
That whole team.
But you take a 5-step. Like that's the offensive
they
coordinator
were
right
all,
there.
yeah, they were all tightened up.
Yeah, they all.
saw
Yep,
what
yep,
was
yep.
happening.
And,
They
and
saw.
that is why the Patriots won a lot of games. That's why Kansas City continues to win a lot of games.
Yep.
Because other teams make mistakes.
Yeah, Vrabel and Buffalo. That's a great move. It's a great
It would
move.
be a good fit there.
Bob's got the comment here.
Yeah.
He said, what's the guy's name again? So I don't
Bob.
destroy
His
him?
name's Bob.
McDermott.
It says right there. Bob Roxborough.
McDermott. They needed to be more of a team like the 19 terrorists on 9/11.
Why isn't he fired like on the spot for saying
I
that?
know.
Like they make so many rules about what you can or cannot say. If you say there's a litter box in a bathroom, you get fired. But some guy can say that.
Yeah.
And that was back in November, wasn't it? earlier in the season.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
in
it was-
November, December.
Yeah, kind of later towards the end of the season.
And they
Yeah.
ended up going on a winning streak because at that point
They rallied around the terrorist comment.
Right, but the players weren't happy with that.
Well, it showed it on the field. They were winning, so
Yeah.
there was something in that Taliban.
They do,
you know?
they do like their coach, but he's not good for them.
Yeah, you know what? I can like somebody, but if they say something like that, I automatically flip the switch and don't like them anymore. I can have somebody as a friend if they do something shady or say something stupid or something doesn't align right with me. That person's no longer
I
a friend.
say stupid shit every week.
Yeah, but you're not like a harmful. I was going to say you're not a harmful idiot. You're not harmful.
I mean, my Japanese comments, you know.
Yeah, but I think you just talk too much, and I think things just get out. I don't think you mean any like ill
A
harm.
lot of stuff just goes.
Yeah,
spewing out.
you would hope that it wouldn't, but it does. But I don't think
Like I
there's
say,
any.
my buddy CJ here, the Hilliers, they let me know a lot of the stuff that I say is politically incorrect. They try to teach me, you know.
But
the
you never
correct
said
way.
anything like that. You don't touch 9/11 and the 3,000 people that died.
No, I just
Yeah.
say, yeah, no. I can never, you
No.
know. Even the Taliban comments I made tonight, I was making sure that I tiptoed a fine line.
Yeah, let's just stay away from the Taliban. How about that? Al Qaeda gone, Taliban
we're
gone.
on YouTube
yeah.
now. They have access.
Oh
so,
man!
You know,
Yeah. So what are you trying to pick up like Al Qaeda views or something? What the hell's going on
Hey,
here?
anything to bump our numbers up.
Yeah, God, we do need the help. Yeah.
need-
All right,
we need
next
some
topic,
support.
quick. Let's do a freaking Bruins minute or something. We gotta switch this over
Do we
fast.
want to do the Bruins minute, or do we want to get into the Celtics? Because I think,
Let's do the Celtics, and then I can go pee during the Bruins minute.
because I think, yeah, I think that's what we all wanted to see at the end of that Nuggets game. But unfortunately, he missed the shot. But as we talked
happens.
about it here earlier, I mean, we all wanted to see him take that shot. That's the shot. That's what we want Tatum to do. And Tatum, you know, unfortunately missed this one.
I want my stars to be alphas, and part of alphas is, you know, taking the last shot and not hitting it all the time. And I'm not going to work with you. You guys work at like 4 in the morning. Like I'm barely going to bed, Todd. Like 4 in the morning, I'm out.
No, but I think I think Dave, you said it earlier, where you know it was nice to see him not pass it to White. But I think that Tatum is the guy that if White was wide open and White had a better look, Tatum would have passed that ball. Tatum would have passed that ball, but
You know, it's like the fans around here. The you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
If he passes it off and White misses, they're going, oh, look at
Why
you.
doesn't he take the
Yeah.
shot?
What's he afraid?
Yeah.
and how refreshing, Jake, how refreshing is it all year to not see Marcus Smart take that last shot?
Oh God, or any shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah.
good point.
And yeah, Brown again screwing it up on the free throw line. Gonna get into that. Why can't this man? He can't dribble. He can't shoot clutch free throws. He can't shoot any free throws. You know, but he did cross up Luka. That is everywhere watching Luka fall on his head. I mean, I was waiting when he crossed up Luka and cut back. I was waiting to see that ball go off his foot.
Yeah, out of bounds. But Jalen has gotten better from last year to this year. So
100%.
we rip on him, but we got to give the guy credit. He's gotten better, and he's working on his game, and he's facilitating a little bit, and he's passing a little bit, and he's taking it to the hole strong. So I'm not the biggest Jalen Brown fan, but he has gotten better.
Yeah, 100%. We dove into that last week. He is,
But when it came down to it in that game, that kid Murray for Denver, he was
Jamal Murray.
stud.
He is an absolute
everything he
stud.
threw up. He was
Yeah, he's good. He's
dropping,
good.
and
He was actually in the same draft as Jalen Brown.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
he was excellent.
Yeah, he's
against the
great.
Celtics the
He's
other
great.
night.
But what that game showed me, because I don't think Denver beat us. I think we lost that game, but we didn't lose it in a typical Celtics fashion. So in that game, just solidified that, you know what, this team can do it this year. There's going to be no excuses. This team can do
Well,
it.
my fear is that Jokic is tough to stop. You need another body. He's tough, man. It seemed like that's a nightmare of a matchup for Porzingis. He just got wherever he wanted to on him.
Yeah, but that's been our fear with Porzingis this whole
Yeah,
time, is
but
he
we
can get
need
back
we
down.
need a little bit more depth at that position. Denver's good, and I would be disappointed if we didn't come out of the East. I think we've separated ourselves from Milwaukee. I can't honestly say in a 7-game series, I think we should beat Denver.
Oh,
I can't say that. I can't say that.
We should in a 7-game
It's a
series.
tough one.
In a 6-game series, we should beat Denver. I'm sorry.
They don't do 6-game series. It
No,
has to
but
be an
I'm-
odd. Has to be an
I'm
odd
saying
number.
we should beat them in 6 games, Tony. We should beat them and Nuggets in 6 games. And if
That's
we
a tough one.
don't, no, there shouldn't be a series in any of this playoff run for the Celtics. That should go more than 6 games.
Best player on the
If-
court is Jokic.
If the Celtics put any series to 6 games, it's because the Celtics were beating themselves.
Yeah, I think Jokic is a tough matchup.
You have the they know how to beat them. They beat them last year. They had the perfect blueprint. We talked about it ad nauseum on the show of what you do to stop Jokic. That they did it. That's the one thing all year last year that Missoula actually did right. And
They didn't do it the other night.
They
Who do you
didn't.
put on Jokic?
they didn't. I honestly think that they didn't press as hard with their guys against Jokic. I think they were afraid of maybe Porzingis getting injured, Horford getting injured, and to them it wasn't worth it. In a 7-game series, they're not going to play like that.
Maybe.
This is the first time I can say that I've been this confident
Yeah.
with these guys.
Yeah, I think he's a tough matchup, and
I'm not saying he's not a tough matchup.
Murray just seems like the
Murray's
difference
really
maker.
good. Michael Porter Jr. is really good. They got the guy from BC.
KCP.
Yep,
I'm just saying his initials.
Pope,
Kadal
yeah.
Pope.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
And Jokic, I feel like, and the Celtics struggle against this, and we saw it with Halliburton. Jokic can control the tempo of the game, and Halliburton against the Celtics was controlling the tempo of the game. And when we're not in control, we are beatable.
So you
Very few guys can do that.
You watched that game, right?
Yes.
Tatum was the best player on the court that night. Tatum was the best player on the court that night.
I don't remember that.
Tatum, 39 points. He had a high 3-point shooter. He had a high. He was the best
But
player
it
on
was
the court
towards
that
the
night.
end where he,
I remember.
But
it
that's
was-
what- but
he
that's
was
what-
missing, or
I remember in the
wasn't
first
taking the shots
first
he should.
quarter, first half, Jokic just dribbling, getting Porzingis on the block, and just doing whatever he wanted. I'm like, dude, this is going to be a problem. I think they're more even than we think. Not more even than I think, but I don't think it's a definite. I don't.
I think that's the matchup we're going to see. I mean, Jason Kimbora was here. I don't think Rivers does anything for Milwaukee. I mean, if anything, he's just going to solidify if we get into the playoffs, no matter what the series says, is Doc Rivers is going to blow it, because he does it every year. Rozier, he's an upgrade on Kyle Lowry.
But that team's not good enough.
Yeah, but that team, they just got to get into the playoffs, what we saw last year.
Right. But I feel like we're a next level above. Like, getting Rozier, that might help you beat Milwaukee. Well, they beat them last year. Might help you beat the Knicks or whoever.
Okay.
But I think we're too far.
Right, but that I was going that way with Rozier as an upgrade for Lowry, because Rozier is going to bring you 20 points a night.
Yeah.
So
Younger,
into
more
that
athletic.
aspect, that makes the Heat a little bit better
Yeah.
there, but the gap is still too far right now with us. You know?
Yeah.
When we play them, their really only matchup, and this is going to fall on Missoula, is Bam on Porzingis. So
Yeah, but I don't even think that's enough.
if Bam can beat, I know it's not enough.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
yeah.
that's their only that's their big, that's our flaw. That's their big advantage, and that's with a lot of these guys in the playoffs. The big advantage is our bigs, and how is Missoula going to coach that?
Yeah. I don't even know if it matters how Missoula coaches, because I think we're just that much more talented than them. This is a rumor that I heard. I don't know if this is true. Adrian Griffin, coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, played here back in the day. Was a very tough defender, like a blue collar guy, a worker. There was because the Bucks were 31-13. They weren't playing their best basketball, but it's not like they were 20-20. There was a rumor going around that Adrian Griffin didn't think that Giannis's brother should be in the NBA.
A lot of people don't think that,
Right.
Because he's awful.
Adrian Griffin, the rumor is, said Giannis's brother was creating insurance fraud by being on this team and collecting a paycheck.
Yeah.
And then rumor was that Giannis was bullshit and forced the firing of Adrian. They were 31-13. They're the number 2 seed. They're not. It's not ideal yet, but it's not like he started off
But he's
20-20. He's right, and he's right.
Yeah.
had to be something internal then.
Yeah,
Not gonna fire the
Thaddeus,
guy.
is that his name? Thaddeus? Giannis? He is awful. He is. If you watch this guy, like I do, because now I really want to see this. I I'm focused on him because I watch all the highlights. I watch
Yeah, he
everything
sucks.
with this.
He's about as good as
awful.
Mike Snellgrove.
He comes into the game immediately fouls,
Yeah, he sucks.
throws air balls, elbows. He is the worst version of Green. Because Green, how he beats everybody up and he got thrown out of the league and now he's back in. Donis is the same way.
I saw an article recently that said he is by far the worst player in the NBA.
Yeah, it's awful.
But I had this argument with my little brother. I'm like, dude, but he brings value because if Giannis wants him there,
It's an
that's
insurance
his,
policy for.
and that's his workout partner. That's who he hangs out with. Giannis is a little bit of a mental midget. If this guy kind of
you
like
gotta
helps
keep him
support
happy.
him, you got to keep. So is that to me? That's more valuable having him as your 12th man as opposed to.
He doesn't need to play.
He doesn't need to play. No, he doesn't need to play. No. Just he's there, almost like a Haslam type.
Yeah.
For
Not even Haslam.
Haslam is a better brain, can help
He
coach.
understands the game.
Yes,
he
yes,
actually
yes.
was a good player at
Right,
one
but
point.
Haslam on the bench doesn't give you any value on the court.
Right.
And the value that Giannis's brother brings is more to help Giannis.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, but if he's over there saying, put him in the game.
that's
you
stupid.
know.
Yeah, just garbage time.
Well,
Let him play garbage
And
time.
that's not going to work with Doc. Doc's not going to put him in the game if I'm sorry. Doc.
Yeah, you can't.
He
you
showed
can't
himself
fire
up
two
in Philly.
coaches
He
at
pissed
that.
off a lot of people there because
Yeah, and Blake Griffin has kind of been on record saying how Doc is a horrible coach. So
we've seen it.
we've seen it. Yeah, we remember him winning a championship, but he hasn't been
And
great.
that
since.
has nothing to do with Doc.
Yeah,
No, the team was
That
great.
was all the players,
And,
right.
and usually when he goes to a team, the team is usually pretty good. He doesn't go to like a crappy team.
Yeah, he doesn't build anyone.
No.
And Paul, you're right. The Bucks need to stop giving Giannis that much power. I mean, Giannis.
But that's,
When he came into the league, I loved him. I loved
He's
the way he
changed.
thought he
I was
changed.
saying this year, he's a little bitch.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He's
he
a little
doesn't- They were
bitch.
talking about on sports radio today. He doesn't play defense.
but look at some of these other players that do this when they go to teams, like Kevin Durant doing this with Brooklyn. You know, they always said LeBron James, wherever he went, he was running the show. Just
LeBron
picking
James
the
is
coaches and picking the
Yeah.
players that were coming in and stuff like that. And Giannis is trying to do it now, and it's not helping the team; it's helping him.
They were saying today that Giannis became Americanized.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And I'm assuming that's why you guys are calling him Giannis instead of Giannis.
Yeah.
Because he is now Americanized, so we
Exactly.
pronounce the G.
You knew where I was
Giannis.
Big G.
You picked up what I was doing.
Yeah, Giannis.
All right,
Yes.
I'm happy that one didn't go unnoticed. I keep looking, no one's picking that up.
Yeah.
But I still think they don't match up with the Celtics. And to go back a few comments here, Jake, yeah, Derek White is the X factor. They don't have an answer on that team for Derek White. When we play Milwaukee,
Milwaukee.
there's no answer. Middleton is still a shell of himself, complete shell of himself. I mean,
Yeah, which and Drew Holiday is like stable, unlike Marcus Smart, which is better.
Yeah.
You know, we got Porzingis, Tatum, and Brown are better than they were last year.
Yep.
So which is better?
And to touch base on Paul here, Kyrie, it's got nothing to do with what he's saying here, but we haven't heard anything from Kyrie this year. All we've heard is like he's playing well.
Yeah.
He's playing well. He's keeping his mouth shut. He's not because he doesn't want to piss off Luka.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a scary Kyrie.
I wonder if Kyrie's like, you know what, I've kind of burned so many bridges that I can't really F around here. I'm in a pretty good situation with Luka. If I burn this bridge,
Not too many people want.
less and less people want me, and then now I'm going to have to play out on a crappy team in Charlotte or whatever. I don't even know if they'd want him.
He's been playing great though.
Yeah.
Like he's been.
Well, he's been a great player in the league.
Yeah. His skills are never in question.
He's
He's
just an
very,
idiot.
he's just an idiot. And 0-9 since he stepped on Lucky's face in Boston. So there you go, Kyrie. Thank you for stomping on Lucky.
Yeah, thank you for doing
Take
that.
that 0-9, shove it up your ass. Bruins minute. I'm out of
You know
here.
what that brings us to? And what a week it was. What a week it was.
Yeah, they've been looking good. I think the rumors of Bergeron coming back, those will put to rest, I think. I hope.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I hope. He did say, no, it's not happening. So, I hope that's the truth. But, because I'll tell you, Charlie Coyle has been a solid player this year.
Yep.
Without Bergeron there. And I think I said it last week, they struggle with face-offs, but they're starting to outshoot their opponents, which is kind of nice. And as usual, the goaltending has been solid.
Out shooting. We scored 9 goals a couple nights ago.
Yeah,
9 goals.
Well, Montreal is so bad.
Since last Wednesday, we've scored. Let's see here, 18 goals in 3 games.
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean,
I feel we've said that a lot, like when they have their little winning streak.
And the thing with the Montreal game was that was Olmark's first game back, and he gave up the 4 goals on the first 8 or 9 shots of the game.
He settled down.
He did settle down, and he needed to, because Swayman went 4 straight games playing and looked very good doing it.
Yeah.
So, Olmark's going to have to pick it up.
I just want to say one thing here about Bernard broke his face. Guy needs a stronger cheekbone.
Yeah. You know what? I just love all of hockey, so I'm not going to stop watching over one player.
No.
Come on, Justin.
No,
We got to keep watching the game. Bedard will be back. He was having a great year, and I know he's going to be out for a little bit, but the kid's legit, and he showed that. 18 years old. We got a long run with him, but
Paul, I was just about to say that before he cut me off with his Bernard rant. It is going to be a great game tonight. Looking forward to this Carolina game. Carolina always plays us tough.
Yeah, this is a good test. I mean, they're very physical, fast, scoring goals.
4-3 Bruins, Paul's calling it.
I think it's Ullmark and net.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he starts out like he did against Montreal. It could be a long night, but they look good.
They look good. I mean, if we want to go back to last week, we sat here and we were talking how much we were looking forward to the Avalanche game because of how well they played, and then we lost in overtime. I mean, they showed up. They showed up right away. That was just another great game for the Bruins.
And I still look at this team as a team not built for a long run in the playoffs, and it's going to be huge.
They're not getting my hopes up this year like they did last year.
The matchup thing is going to be huge. I mean, if they have to play Florida right away, even Carolina in a 7-game series is going to be a tough one to win. And the Rangers look really solid right now, but they match up well with the Rangers. So the goaltending steals some games. They might pull out a series.
Yeah. I like how you do that. You're like, they're not going to be, but they match up really well. You go back in.
Plays both sides of the fence.
Yeah. Never wrong, Dave.
Tough to be wrong.
He gave you both sides.
Yeah.
I try to believe every year
Yeah.
that they're going to make a run, and then they break your heart. So
I mean, the one thing that I don't want to give so much credit yet. I know we touched on this a little bit last week, but Swayman's been playing well. Swayman, I think, finally would be the guy that you have always said that he would be. And I can't fully believe in it to a playoff series till he really wins.
Yeah,
But
I mean, he has to steal the show in the playoffs to really cement any type of.
There's just, I don't know what I was gonna say like that.
Well, it's funny because you stopped him. He didn't know what he was going to say. He said he needs to step up in the playoffs to cement some type of. And then in comes Snelly with no idea what he's talking about. What a disaster! And on that note, we'll end the Bruins minute.
Mike did compliment Swayman, Jake. Yes, that's a first.
Yep. Hey, I don't want to say I was wrong yet, Jake. But I call a spade a spade. He played well. I can't be a fan of the Bruins and completely crap on him when he plays well.
He's having a great season in general. I mean, I don't know about winning any trophies, Vezina, but could make a run in the playoffs with him and steal a Stanley Cup. I don't know.
That's it, Justin. You want to talk Hall of Fame? There's no Hall of Fame talk. Rodriguez and Manning did not get in. This is it is awful. This baseball Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame for baseball is kind of a joke.
Yeah.
If you have decent numbers or really good numbers, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from guys that got elected in, but I mean, Adrian Beltre, was he a game changer?
I feel like Adrian Beltre should be in. What people don't know, he had 3,000 hits. He had 1,700 RBIs. He batted .280. defensively a wizard at third base. So I think because of longevity and he was productive for a long time, yes. Todd Helton, I would say no. A lot of these guys, I would say no. Go.
But compared to what they've been letting in, they couldn't not let in Beltran.
Yeah. And you know what? I think if you look at the game, I think the Hall of Fame should be small. I think it should be stars. And just, 3,000 hits usually get you in. Adrian Beltre had 3,000 hits.
He wasn't. He
470 homers, I think.
He was like a Mike Trout type in the fact that he just wasn't charismatic.
Yeah, he's
He
kind
wasn't-
of quiet.
He dropped
Yeah.
the bag,
Right.
basically.
And he played on a few different teams, so you kind of lost track of him.
Do you
But
remember him here? You
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
Obviously, you
They
remember
should
him here.
have re-signed him.
But really, for just even the average baseball player, how many people out there remember him here?
Yeah, he was here for 1 year, right?
Yeah,
But it's,
and he had
it's
a
almost
good
like
year.
handing out
Very
a
good year.
participation trophy right now with the Hall of Fame.
It's too much. It's
Yeah.
too big. Scott Rowland.
I mean,
Larry Walker.
Todd Helton, they were
Todd
talking about
Helton.
his numbers where
Yeah.
in Colorado he had his, I don't know, one of his numbers was 200 points higher.
Right, and you know what I hate too? They determine who did steroids.
Yeah,
You can't have Roger Clemens out, Barry Bonds out, Manny Ramirez out, but you let Pudge Rodriguez in? I know for a fact.
Didn't they let Rafael Palmeiro in too?
No.
Oh, I thought it's something that he got in.
But I know for a fact that Rodriguez was on a ton of steroids, and I know for a fact that the Florida Marlins won that World Series championship because Rodriguez got everybody on the sauce. Remember Josh Beckett throwing 99 miles an hour, Game 6 of the World Series? He was on the sauce. So you can't have Pudge Rodriguez in and say, well, he's not a steroid guy. He is the prototypical steroid guy.
Yeah.
Where's Sheffield? These are the names that should be in. Sheffield, Clemens, Manny, A-Rod,
Yeah.
Bonds. They should all be in.
100%. There's no disagreement.
You need to take that steroid era and say, you know what? We're going to not decide who did it, who didn't
They
do it.
all did it.
We'll assume everyone did it, which they all did, and we're going to take the best of the steroid era. And then that'll get Manny in.
And these guys brought fans into the game.
Yeah.
It was-
Change the game.
It was,
Yeah.
Change the game.
It was-
Sosa McGuire. Everybody was watching.
Is Ortiz getting in?
yeah.
Ortiz is in.
Is he in?
He's in.
I mean, he's a guy that
Right? Ortiz is in. Ortiz is in. Yes.
was that last year.
I think
I
so.
don't know.
I'm
As
terrible
I get
with
older,
that
I
stuff.
forget everybody. Yeah.
That was supposed to say Beltre only went to 4 All-Star games. Yeah, I don't even remember the All-Star games he went to. And I watched the All-Star games. That's one of the All-Star games that's decent because these guys want to win. They want to play.
I can't say I watch him. I
But
watched the one at Fenway that Pedro pitched where
Yeah.
he struck out
well, you get the
Yeah.
you
five
get the
in a row or 6 in a row.
Yeah, 5 out of
Yeah.
6.
you get the NBA,
Then he got hurt.
which is just offense. They don't play defense to the very end. You get the NFL, which is I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
The NHL has a great little 3-on-3. I mean, in baseball, these guys want to play. They pitch. They want to strike guys out.
Yeah. It's a competitive
they
game.
want to play. It's
Yeah.
competitive. They want to win.
Right.
You know, so that's the one purest thing that I still enjoy is that All-Star game.
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. So, all right.
All right.
So I know we usually do
A non-sports.
non-sports, but I want to do a sports-related one because
Because an hour isn't enough.
no, I just your guys' opinion on this. I do the Gronk and Kelsey ad nauseum of who's better, and you're never going to get a clear cut around here. But let's do something else that I didn't even realize until it was brought to my attention here. That there's the debate on who's the better wide receiver with Calvin Johnson and Larry Fitzgerald. And okay, and then I'm hearing about another one when they're going in with a Peyton Manning and Pat Mahomes debate.
Patrick Mahomes. No doubt about it.
All right, well let's start with that one. So
No doubt about it.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes
Hold on.
is better than Brady.
right now, okay, right now, you stop the body of work. I'm going Peyton Manning.
Okay.
Right
See,
now.
that's the problem.
Okay, but if as Pat Mahomes' career continues, he has the potential to be
Better than Brady.
better than Brady, definitely better than Manning. But right now, if you just look at their careers, yes, Manning.
Manning also played indoors.
Yeah.
Get Patrick Mahomes indoors. No elements. He's
No.
tearing it up.
But if you look at their body of work as of right now, as of today,
But you always have to look at
No.
Peyton Manning and say he threw that flutter ball indoors. In the cold, he wasn't as great.
yeah.
No, he wasn't. But
I-
it's tough. Two different styles. Manning never had to extend plays with his legs. Brady rarely.
We're talking Manning.
Manning, yeah, I know.
Manning
I'm just
versus
saying,
Mahomes.
Manning, Brady, they didn't have to extend plays, but Mahomes is unbelievable at extending plays and making these throws that are just, like almost on the ground, making a throw and completing it.
Yeah, I'll
That's
give Jacob that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
100%. That's another one I was going to get to.
different time period.
Yeah.
They played defense back then.
Right.
And I think this year,
We'll get to that in a minute, Paul.
I think the defense was allowed to be more physical against receivers this year.
But still nothing to back in the Peyton Manning days.
No,
Nothing.
nothing will ever compare.
You can maul those
That's-
guys.
I mean, you start talking like that, though. I mean, you go back into the Montana days.
we don't need to do
and
that.
And the concussions that
Roger
guys had.
Staubach.
Like,
But in time, Patrick Mahomes will take that over and has the potential to be the best quarterback that we've ever seen.
Yeah, and I know Patriot
Not
fans
yet.
hate it, but
It's not yet. Right now, Brady is by far the best.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, you get Peyton Manning and Patrick Mahomes.
now how about this? If Patrick Mahomes wins 5, is Brady still the obvious best?
Yes.
Dave, you're
With-
breathing. Yeah, I
With Mahomes right behind him.
It's just, it's tough because Brady was like, you look at his stats from his first, you break his career into 3
right.
separate sections, and it's like he's a Hall of Famer in all 3.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mahomes is still young. He's 28. He's got to keep this up for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's my brother's thing.
Does
He's
he-
like, dude, he might get hurt. He might lose interest. He's going to lose a lot
Yeah,
of players.
Does he play till he's 45?
Right.
The way the NFL
The way-
is going now, he's playing
might.
till he's
Yeah,
in his
yeah,
40s.
but
It's
he,
possible.
but he also gives
barring
himself,
an injury.
yeah, he gives himself more opportunity to get hurt. He runs a lot more.
He runs, yeah.
And
That's-
Brady slid within the pocket and maneuvered his body very well.
Yeah. And the injury thing could bite Mahomes.
Yeah,
He runs a little, ragged at times, and
yeah.
you know.
I will say one thing, I will say Brady, as of right now, best of all time. But when you take a look at Brady, and they like to divide his career into 3 sections, his first section,
Peyton Manning was the better quarterback.
yeah, he wasn't considered the best quarterback in football.
Yeah.
Right? That first, so I know it could be a Hall of Famer because they won 3 titles, but he wasn't considered. He was kind of behind Peyton Manning.
And you're right, Brady did have the moves. He broke Brian Urquhart ankles.
Yeah, he did.
I always considered Manning to be the greatest regular season quarterback.
He won 2 Super Bowls.
He did.
Yeah, but one of them was a fake win. One of them would be like a Purdy one. You'd be Purdy won this. You know?
I don't, if Purdy wins one, he wins one.
Yeah.
If you win the Super Bowl, I don't care. It's not a fake win. If you win the NBA championship, it's not a fake win.
So
if you win
Jimmy Garoppolo is a Super Bowl champion.
he didn't win one.
Yeah, he was on Seattle. He was on that team that beat Seattle.
But he wasn't the starting quarterback, Tony. No, don't do that.
Peyton Manning didn't do much in that second Super Bowl that he
He
won.
managed the game.
Oh boy.
All right,
No,
but,
but as far as regular season went, I mean, he was unbelievable.
Mhm.
He was
Yeah,
ready for every matchup.
Yeah.
Harrison,
And-
Edge, Clark. Yeah, he had a great squad around him. Yeah.
He did. But he made his team better.
Yeah.
He was a very intelligent.
Yeah, and they
player.
also played indoors.
Yeah, oh,
It
yeah.
makes it easier. It makes it
does.
easier.
It does.
But before we wrap up the show here, Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson.
I can't.
So
I think Calvin Johnson's more of the nightmare.
More explosive.
yeah,
Bigger, like a better target. I don't really know. I can't say I watched Larry Fitzgerald enough. I know he was great. I know his hands were perfect, right? I didn't miss anything. But I can't say I watched either one of them enough to even
So,
really answer that question.
Jake, I want to agree. At first glance, watching Megatron play, the guy was unguardable. The guy was amazing.
Yeah, he's a freak. He's like
He's a
Gronk
freak.
as a wide receiver.
But if you want to start to dive into it and the longevity and what Fitzgerald did over, 16 years.
Larry's hair was perfect.
Yeah, I mean his overall body of work is otherworldly for a wide receiver.
Right.
I mean he had 500-600+ yard receptions
The
in
biggest
a
thing with
season.
him was he had like less drops than the amount of years he played.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect
It
hands.
was
Perfect hands,
ridiculous.
yeah.
About everything.
And it's tough when somebody has like a short window. Megatron had a little bit of a short.
Those last 5 years that Megatron had, he was over 1,000 yards every year. He was a freak, and I wish his career was longer. I mean, there would be more of this discussion, but
He was in Detroit, and he just got angry with the losing.
Yeah.
And Fitzgerald was in Arizona, didn't get angry with the losing.
No, because he just loved the
He
game.
stuck it out.
Yeah,
they got Kurt
He
Warner.
loved it.
That's the thing too. If you don't love
Yeah.
this sport,
Paul, that's the number. Thank you. 29 drop passes in 17
yeah.
years.
If you don't love the sport, this is a tough sport to play.
Making me look bad,
And,
Paul.
and then you have to live in Detroit on top of it, where it sucks, it's cold, it's miserable over there,
Yeah.
and your team sucks. So if you don't love the sport of
Hey.
football and you make your money,
Barry
Sanders
quit.
did the same thing.
Yeah.
And Jake, that's right. Larry played almost 10 more years. You can't discredit that.
No,
You
that's-
can't.
I mean,
it'd be something if those 10 years were subpar years. I'd say
at
you,
that position to play
Yeah.
17
Right,
years.
right.
but they played in the same time period. And Larry Fitzgerald, still his stats were. I mean, if you want to, I liked Calvin Johnson more. I think we all liked
He just
Calvin
had-
Johnson
he had
more.
the flair.
I think
Yeah.
if you had one game, both players in their prime,
I'm going Calvin Johnson.
I would take Calvin Johnson.
Yep.
He's right. So I think that's where it kind of gets confusing for
Yeah.
people, because it's like, well, this guy has the longevity, but this guy might have been better,
Yeah.
but he didn't have the longevity. So that's where the argument kind of gets lost a little bit.
Yeah.
But one game, I think I'd rather have the freak.
Yeah.
Who's going to blow that game up for 240 yards? Probably Calvin Johnson.
Yep. But Calvin Johnson, I mean, if you throw the ball to him at the end of the game, and someone has to make the catch, right? You got one shot. You're taking Larry Fitzgerald.
Right, yeah. So it's tough to kind of
You know, because if you look at the stats, Calvin Johnson had a lot of targets, and his reception to target match.
You know what, Jacob? Jacob goes just like Kelsey and Gronk. Yeah, that's why it's hard for people to decipher who's better. Kelsey has a little bit more of a shelf life. That shelf life might be coming to an end.
More consistency.
Less injuries, played more consistent years.
And like I could separate the two. Gronk is my favorite, one of my favorite NFL players of all time. I love Gronkowski, but if you want to take the body of work,
Right,
you're
that's
gonna take Kelsey.
it's the same
And then
argument.
everybody
he
gives.
was wild, like
What?
the way he caught the ball,
Gronk?
ran
Yeah.
the ball.
He was more
he
exciting.
took abuse because of the
The
way
way
he
he
ran
blocked,
and-
like,
yeah.
he was
I
just
mean,
a-
And you got to see him every week here, every week. I mean,
Beast.
Kelsey
gonna
had a
take-
lot of that flair too, but you only got to see him 2 or 3
Yeah,
games
but Kelsey's
a
a
year.
little bit more of a tight end, a little bit more of a wide receiver.
Here's my other thing. So everyone goes, Gronk had to block. Gronk always had to block. We had no running game here. Kelsey didn't have to block. He had.
But Gronk was just an aggressive,
I mean,
violent.
look at the running backs we had. Kareem Hunt had. I shouldn't say we. Kareem Hunt had huge years. Don't forget Charles Johnson, one of the best running backs in the game at that point.
Charles Johnson. Don't forget
Jamal Charles.
Yeah,
Jamal
I
Charles.
was going to
Jamal
say Charles Johnson.
Jamal Charles.
Penn State guy?
Paul, he's a way better blocker. I don't care about blocking. I would never sit here and talk about how great blocking is and offensive. What makes the tight end is those catches, those touchdowns. those
Right.
passes.
That's
And
what makes
Gronk-
it in fantasy. But like if
Not
you're
even
building,
that. Gronk had one of the single best seasons ever in 2011. That's really if you look at these highlights.
It's not an
90%
argument.
of them.
They're two different
styles.
Two different styles. It's hard to argue.
Kelsey's more like
Being a
Hernandez
Patriots
was.
fan, and that's Hernandez. I
comment
hate to bring the
is
name
right.
up, but that's a style. I mean,
Yeah.
Hernandez was just like Kelsey.
Correct. More of the wide receiver. More of
of
the
that
yeah.
type,
Jake, you're validating my point. I want them to draft an offensive lineman to block. I don't want them to draft a tight end to block. I want them to draft a tight end to manhandle the defense and catch
I'm
the
leaning
ball.
towards Marvin Harrison Jr. at this point.
Hey, my guy.
Because
It's going to be a quarterback.
My reasoning for this is because no good wide receiver in their right mind is going to willingly come here. So you have to draft one who has to come here.
Yeah, he's going to come here and force his way out because this team
You
sucks.
got 5 years before it happens.
Yeah.
No,
he's got to do something to play for that money.
He's going to force his way out of here.
and-
It's a wasted
we don't
draft
know that.
pick.
We don't know
We
that.
do know that. He's a prima donna. It's already been shown. He's going to force his way out of here.
Well,
it's not
like
going
I
to
said,
happen.
I'm
It is a
still
wasted
leaning
draft
towards-
pick.
Marvin
Well,
Harrison
now we
Jr.
know.
MHJ.
That's the only way they're getting a good receiver here. So
I think we are keeping Mac Jones, Paul Collins. All right, so
Can
we're
I-
done.
Can I mention the?
Go ahead, mention it real quick.
What do you want to mention?
The
Well, we talked about that at the beginning.
Sports.
Go ahead,
Sports.
one last time. You got 30 seconds to shoot low.
Go ahead, mention it
MP
away.
Sports Cards for all your sports cards needs.
Big
and,
card break
you
tonight.
know,
Big
yeah,
card break.
hockey card break tonight. They do football as well, but if you guys get a chance, they're in Carver. Great guys that work there. Stop in. Very friendly staff, and we're hoping to work with them a little bit with the show. Try to help us get out there a little bit more.
We'll be better at that next week.
We will. Yeah, we're gonna have to, write some stuff down next time. But yeah, stop in if you get a chance.
All right.
All right.
All right, now we'll do this again.
Can I get to the button?
And the outro.
Let's go.